Now, the unprecedented times of lockdown and global uncertainty have given many an opportunity to reflect. Whilst this is guaranteed that nothing will be the same after the pandemic, the spirit of Ubuntu has shone through the various communities. Tonight, we're asking, what is Ubuntu? And to help us unpack this, we are joined by Professor Pitika Ntuli, who is a respected artist and cultural analyst. Professor, a very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight on Flatten the Curve. I actually want to start off by asking you to perhaps just explain the various components of Ubuntu, the philosophy of Ubuntu. Walk us through how that is broken down in today's context.
If I say I am doing this thing Ntuli, that means I'm doing it the Ntuli way. If I'm doing it Ntu, I'm doing it the Ntu way. Then the question becomes, what is this Ntu according to which we have got to do these things? According to Bantu languages, the stem Ntu is a vital force, the power to cause things to happen and to change. Which therefore means to say, if you put mu in front of Ntu, you get Muntu, a person who is a change object. And once I'm a change object and you are a change object, then we are united. That's why in Ubuntu we say, I am because you are. I do not exist in isolation from myself, from any other person, from plants, from animals, from everything that is created here on earth. Therefore, the philosophy of Ubuntu is a philosophy of unity, is a philosophy of togetherness, of mutual help and mutual interdependence.
Now, Professor, just engaging with the socio-economic and political factors, not only in a South African context, but even in African context to date. I mean, I want to know from you, how important is the concept of Ubuntu during these unprecedented times, during the COVID-19 pandemic, given the economic and socio-political factors that have influenced us just over these past few months?
If ever there was a time when Ubuntu has to be demonstrated, it is now. How many people do you find standing on the roads begging? People are off their jobs, they are not working. Everybody seems to be struggling. It's a time such as this that you begin to find people who are supplying people with soup here, with food here, the generosity of people that is taking place all over. I'm in Underberg right now, in the southern Berg, where people receive food to about 10,000 people out of their own pockets, out of donations. Those are the things that actually demonstrate Ubuntu, that don't say because I am satisfied, I get everything that I want, and then somebody else doesn't, and you do not come out and you help. But best to understand this thing is this. If in African culture, in Nguni culture, for instance, you come to a village and no one knows you, you are hungry, people will sit down there and feed you. When they go to work, if you stay there, they know you are going. If you join them, they make you to join. They'll give you your own cow. They'll look for a space for you so that you are not actually isolated. That's why we say, Zibuela emasi sweni, so that whenever you have helped this person, when that cow you are given gives birth to a calf, then you must take the calf to the person who gave you the cow, so that the generosity, the continuation, the mutual support should continue. That's the basis upon which Ubuntu is based.
Professor, we can't ignore the fact that there haven't been challenges and contradictions that have also erupted, obviously just highlighting the inequality rife within a South African and African context. So, whilst we adhere to this ingrained philosophy that we've hopefully all been subjected to, being of the African soil, I want to know from you, what are some of those challenges and contradictions that have emerged during these unprecedented times? How disappointing have some of those stories also been?
I mean, there's been many stories of disappointment. You've already hit the nail on the head when you speak about inequalities. If everybody was equal and everything was equal, then Ubuntu would be just a very perfect thing and not a challenge. right? Now, what has actually happened now is that during this time when people are actually starving, people get desperate. And those that get desperate go up and rob the other people who are also who are equally desperate. So in other words, if we base ourselves on a system that we are based on a capitalist system that is predicated upon making maximum profit, which is very antithetical and against the whole principle of Ubuntu. One question is, how many billionaires do you have here in South Africa? How many corporates with all the monies that they cannot know what to do? How many of them have set up anything in order to help people, except those few foundations that you are going to get? But the rest of the people do not care about any other person, because we have actually ceased to be Africans in the true sense of the word, where things of sharing, it is of having extended families. Every child is your child. Every father is your father. All of those principles that could be brought to the present right now is a very saddest part in our own history, to see so many people desperate, hungry, and very little is being offered to them by those who can.